All right. I am so excited to share this. Hopefully, this will help you as much as figuring this out for myself has helped me. One of the things that I like to do, I like frameworks, I like visualizations, I like analogies, things that I could use as I call them a litmus test to help me figure out what's going on, to help me interpret what it is that I'm doing so that I can do better at it. Not just like in the outcome, make more money better at it, but in the whole approach to things. How could I have a better approach to things? And this will all get much clearer in a second here. So one of the things that I have been pondering lately is my evolution with a concept of being easy, right? The word easy, my evolution with easy, not an easy evolution, don't get me wrong, but an evolution with my relationship with the concept of something being easy. And as I'm telling you my version, think about where you are. How are you interpreting things? One of the best ways to improve your world is to become an observer of your own behavior. If you can get out of reaction mode, that's the killer, right? If you can get out of reaction mode and become an observer of your behavior and have an honest conversation with yourself about, isn't that interesting? Why am I doing that? Why did it happen that way? Why did I respond that way? Hopefully, this framework will give you something to butt that up against, and you can take it where you will from there. So, my first experience with the concept of easy really goes back to when I used to do powerlifting and bodybuilding. One of the things we used to say in the gym all the time is, if it were easy, everyone would do it. If it were easy, everyone would do it, right? Because we were in the gym. We were in the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning doing cardio. We were eating clean all day. And then we were back in the gym 5 nights out of 7 doing hour and a half long weightlifting workouts. If it were easy, everyone would do it. And it was a badge of honor. It was a badge of honor to know that this was hard and that we were doing it, my friends and I. And I had that framework for a very long time, that if something were easy, it was of less value. That in order to have value, conversely, it had to be hard. Because if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. And then you're not so different and special, are you? So you have to ask yourself, are you making things harder in order to feel better about having accomplished them? Or are you letting things be hard because if it were easy, if what you were trying to do was easy, it wouldn't have the value. You wouldn't interpret it as having the value that you do, considering it's hard and you overcame. So that's my stage one, where something being easy equaled less than, and something being hard was equated to better. Then in my evolution here, I consider stage two what the question one of my coaches used to ask me or tell me. One of the things one of my coaches used to tell me is, easy is a perspective. This took me so long. Do not take as long as I did to figure this out. Easy is a perspective. Whether or not something is easy is a perspective, meaning you get to choose your perspective. For some people, cliff diving is easy. And for some people, cliff diving, would be the last thing they'd be caught at doing because it's horrifying. But the cliff diving never changed. So whether or not something is easy is a perspective. And I still use this. I still use this tool, deciding whether or not something is easy with my calendar. That was one thing that used to throw me. My calendar would get so booked up and I would get very overwhelmed by it. Now, yes, we can have a different discussion about how to be more in control of your calendar and boundaries and all that. But for today's conversation, I would look at my calendar and be completely freaked out and exhausted in advance, right? Preemptively exhausted about the week. But whether or not my calendar and my day were easy is actually a perspective. And I still do this. Every single day I look at my calendar and I look at what's going on that day. And I tell myself, oh my God, this is going to be such a fun, easy day. Look at all the great things I have planned. This is going to be a fun, easy day. Or look at all the space I have in my schedule today. It's going to be a fun, easy day. And I remind myself that I get to choose whether or not I feel that the day is going to be easy or the day is going to be hard. Because whether or not something is easy is actually a perspective. So that's stage 2, choosing to view something as easy so that you don't freak out about it, The third stage I call, what if it were easy? Again, that was a question that was posed to me in a coaching relationship. What if it were easy? And I use this question to help me keep things less complicated and help me solve problems. Because marketing and business, things get complicated by accident. Have you ever noticed that? Things just, you solve a problem, and then you solve another problem, then you solve another problem. And the next thing you know, you're 17 stages deep of solving problems, and the outcome you're trying to achieve is 3 months away instead of an hour away because you've made it more complicated. So now the question is, what if it were easy? And I'll do that as I'm looking to create, as I'm looking to set a goal, as I'm reach a goal, as I'm looking to try to achieve an outcome, try to solve a problem. I'll stop and I'll ask myself, okay, what if it were easy? What would it look like if solving this problem were easy? If accomplishing this goal were easy? What would that look like? And I'll think about that for a second, reflect on that. What if this were easy? What would happen? And then go do it that way. And then just go do it that way. So stage 1 is a bit of a warning to you. If you're looking at something and labeling it as easy, meaning of less worth or value, you're going to create problems for yourself. Number 2 is a reminder that easy is a perspective. You get to pick. You literally get to pick whether or not something is going to be easy. And stage 3, step 3, question 3, I don't know what I should call these, is the idea of what if it were easy as a problem-solving tool. Visualizing an easy path to where it is that you want to land, and then taking that path instead of taking a much more complicated path. It seems to happen by accident, and certainly happens if we're not careful. So stage 4, question 4, litmus test 4, to come up with a good label, I'm kind of stuck there, is the idea of let it be easy. Let it be easy. And by let it be easy, this is what I mean. I'll give you an example. Last week, we're doing a bunch of, it's spring here, we're doing a bunch of tree clearing. And I must have cleared trees for 6 hours. That is hard work. I'm getting older. That is hard work. But it was easy for me to go do it. It was easy for me to go do it because I'm excited about it, because I love the work, because I love what we're creating on our land. So in terms of let it be easy, what I mean, and people use this in different ways, but in terms of let it be easy, I mean, it has nothing to do with how challenging the work is, how physically taxing it is, how difficult it might be to learn a new thing, but it's easy to go do the thing because you're just so damn excited about it, because you're so inspired for the outcome. Different things are easy to different people. If you're so inspired by the outcome, if you're so excited to do the thing, then don't confuse whether or not it's easy to get off the couch and do it with how hard it might be in the moment. Whether or not something's easy to do, meaning easy to get motivated, easy to get excited about, is different than how challenging the actual task is. So don't confuse motivation and easy excitement levels with challenge around learning a new thing, around learning how to speak in front of people, on learning social media, on learning whatever it is, on writing a book. Writing a book is not necessarily an easy task, but if you're so darn excited to get your message out, it's easy to be motivated around it. So this last concept around easy is doing the things. The goal is to do the things where you are so excited about the outcome that the motivation to keep going is easier than harder, right? If you're massively motivated, it's easy to get going. I'll give you another example. I have recently changed up what I'm eating. I haven't had very little. I'm not allergic, so I'm not removing it 100%, but I have had months now, probably 4 or 5 months now, dairy, sugar, and bread. I'm barely eating any of it. And it hasn't been a thing. Like, it's been no big deal. It's been easy. And it's been easy even on days when I wanted ice cream, even on days when I wanted something else. It's been easy because I feel so much better. I feel physically so much better. And I was so sick of not feeling good that my desire for the outcome became more important than how challenging it was in any given moment to make a decision. And so sticking with my new eating habits has been pretty easy. It's been really easy. And it's been easy because of the motivation and because of the outcomes that I'm feeling. So this fourth and final stage is about choosing what you're doing because the motivation is easy. Because the motivation is so exciting to you that you don't care how challenging, physically taxing, hard the task is, because the motivation and the inspiration is just easy. So I have a final thing for you. So just a real quick review. Just ask yourself, where are you at with these different versions and evolutions of the word easy? Are you avoiding it because you feel hard is a badge of honor? Been there, done that. Still occasionally wear the t-shirt. Have to be careful about that one. Are you waiting? Are you looking at something because it's hard because you've decided it's hard when you could just as easily, with a little practice, decide that it's easy, where easy is a perspective? Number 3, using easy as a tool. What if it were easy as an actual problem-solving tool? What if it were easy? And then doing it that way. And number 4, using your motivation that comes easy to you because you're just so inspired and excited, so that your actions, no matter how challenging, are easier to take and easier to do. So where does this all go wrong? Where does this go wrong? So this is when I warn you, put your little safety bubble on. This one's brutal. If you're using an easy button to avoid having to do the work, whether that's external work or much more often internal work, that's not a good definition of easy to lean on. There comes a point where you can mistaken easy for entitlement. When you take easy too far and you think it should all be easy, thank you, Staples, right? That was easy. If you really think it should be easy and that there's no effort involved, that's entitlement. That can cross the line into entitlement. That's not what we're going after. There has to be an exchange of energy. And sometimes that energy is 6 hours in the woods behind your house clearing buckthorns and other invasive species in the mud, in the cold, and the fire will stay on to burn the stuff. But sometimes the exchange of energy is internal work. And being brave enough to look at the underlying feelings that are messing with you, and being brave enough to learn a new approach to the world, and having an honest conversation with yourself about your motivation and about what you want to do and about what you're trying to do. So the warning on all this is, if you are trying to press an easy button to avoid that exchange of energy, to avoid that evolution of your own, you run the risk of falling into entitlement. And that's not how this works, right? That's not how any of this works. So hopefully that helped you. I'm really curious about your thoughts around this. I'm actually thinking of expanding this into an ebook or something, because this word easy keeps popping up in so many different ways. And I think we could really, really use it in so many different ways. So hopefully that gives you something to think about. I know it's been a big game changer for me. And with that, good luck. Let me know how it goes. I'm curious what you think.